When it comes to the Nintendo Switch or the Switch OLED, one of the great things about it is the fact that you can play console quality games either on the go or connected to your TV like what we have here. One of the things that's not very good about it, however, is the stock Joy-Con grip. It does give you a pseudo pro style controller. I don't think it's very comfortable. I think it's very slippery. I would have liked more of a textured sort of feel on here. I don't think the analog sticks are very accurate. I mean, Joy-Con drift, anyone? It's one of those things that it works, but you're going to want to upgrade pretty quickly. And Nintendo has their own very exceptional option in the Nintendo Switch Pro controller. I actually have an optional case on this, but this is a Switch Pro controller. Great thing is just how well it works, how comfortable it is, how responsive it is. The bad thing, not inexpensive. You're looking $60 to $80 at the bare minimum. Now, there are other third-party controllers out there that allow you to go ahead and get a better than Joy-Con experience without hitting, the price point of what the Pro controller is. But generally, they cut a lot of corners to be able to get that price down. Some of those features are ones that you may not miss. Wake from sleep, amiibo support. Others, you may really want those features. Hey everyone, Gary here with Rock Solid Productions. Welcome to our episode here. I really do appreciate you stopping by. Do me a favor, if you like what you see here, hit that subscribe button, that bell notification. That way every time we upload new content, you're kept the most informed and up to date. Now, the folks over at Old School Games have sent us this here, and they did send us this for review. This is the Old School ProMini controller designed for the Nintendo Switch. Now, they've had similar controllers to this in the past for the Wii U. I've always wanted to try, but I never did. I do want to thank them for sending us this in for review. Now, I will say, rightly or wrongly, I have been very critical of many of Old School's products. However, some of their controllers that I've tested recently, really good. Like their controller for the TurboGrafx 16, it's exceptional. So what we're going to do in this episode is we're going to go ahead, we're going to unbox this, we're going to see how it comes out of the box, we're going to walk you through the pairing process, we're going to walk you through the different features, and we're going to test it out with some gameplay. Let's go get started. So here we have the Old School ProMini in smoke on the bench. Now, one thing I forgot to mention in the open, they also have this available in white. They just didn't have those available to send out to me at this time, but they do have stock available that they could send to you if you so like. Does have NFC support. What does that mean? Amiibo. This promises to work with Amiibo, motion enabled. Looking on the side, just the logo. On the back. When you need precision controls, ditch the Joy-Cons and grab your ProMini wireless controller. Never miss a shot with the built-in motion controls and turbo button. That's nice. Want to scan an Amiibo? The ProMini can do that. Take your gaming to the next level today. Everything else there, same thing, just different languages. Same thing on the side. Pretty simplistic, basic box. Let's go ahead and open this up. So we have a charge cable. Looks to be about 4 to 6 feet. USB-C, that's nice. I am so glad we are getting out and away from micro USB. Not that it was terrible, but it wasn't great. We have a instruction slip sheet, and here's the controller. It's, looking at the box, I expected it to be pretty small. And it is pretty small. I would say it's not a ton bigger than the Joy-Con. You know what? This reminds me of a Super NES controller. It really does. The grips down here are somewhat textured. I hope that shows up on camera. The sticks, I would say, are firm. The springs definitely feel pretty firm on here. D-pad feels solid. ABXY are slippery. I kind of wish that they did. I mean, I like the fact it looks like a Super NES controller. I really do like that. Give me the concave convex buttons. That would be nice. Looks like you have a home, turbo, plus minus capture. So feeling the triggers here, they're definitely digital, not analog. On the back, nothing popping out. Looks like there may be a reset port like right here. No pairing button or anything, so that's interesting to note. You can actually see the battery connector underneath the case. I always love to see stuff like that. So overall, very nice looking control. It Again, it reminds me of a Super Nintendo controller. So I don't have a Super NES controller handy, but I do have the Pro controller. And you can see it's actually pretty close dimensionally speaking as far as the analog stick, the button layout and everything. The buttons are closer to the analog stick, it looks like, and they have gone and changed where the top of the thumbsticks here are concave, and these are convex, so inverted there. D-pad does look a bit bigger on here than on here, so that's interesting to note too. The L and R and ZL, or yeah, ZL and ZR or R2, L2 look a little bit larger as well, so that is good to note. Let's take a look at the instructions real quick. So again, just walks us through like just the button layouts and everything. You have the, they're calling it a 3D joystick. It's your left analog stick, right analog stick, A, B, X, Y buttons, R1, R2, start, turbo. Controller works with the NS Switch, Nintendo Switch, supports double motor vibration function, USB-C charging port, and NFC functionality. So walks you through how to go ahead and pair. Let's see. At the first connection of the wireless controller with Switch, you can do the following instructions. Go into the Switch controller pair settings as shown below. Press the Y and the home button to pair. Okay. Change there, walks you through everything there. Has a turbo mode on here. Let's see, should wake up the controller with a short press of home. Does not talk about whether or not it'll wake the system from sleep, so we will check that out here shortly. How to change, you can adjust the turbo speed, use the NFC functionality. So for Amiibo, you want to be right over the old school logo there. Okay, let's go ahead and let's get it paired up to our Switch OLED. So we have our Switch OLED ready to rock and roll. We are going to pair new controllers. Oh, no, we don't want to do that. We want to change grip order. There we go. So Y and home, huh? Y and home. This may be completely dead out of the box. It is, so we need to go ahead and charge this guy up first, which means we're not finishing this video tonight. So take two at our attempt at pairing. The battery on the controller did not have enough juice to it to begin with for us to go ahead and initiate pairing, so we did charge it basically overnight. To pair, go into your controllers, change grip order. It's going to begin looking, and at here you need to press the Y and the home button. So press Y and home, and then the lights in the center will begin to cycle. There it is.
A few moments later.
Nothing. Well, that's disappointing.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
Nothing's.
One eternity later.
What we're going to do here is I actually have a USB-C to C cable. We're going to plug this in and see if we can't establish a connection this way. So connecting the USB cable, not a problem. So all the buttons seem to be working. We're going to disconnect again. Once I'm disconnected here, it does not want to connect to my Switch. That is more than a little bit irritating. All right, so we've gone through on our Switch OLED here. We've wiped out all of our other controllers. We're going to change grip order. Try it one more time. Home and the Y key. It's just not pairing. So what we're going to do, we're going to reconnect this again. And we're going to just try playing with it wired for a little bit here. Because what I've found is, there it is. And a lot of times if I come back to the main screen here now, if I disconnect, give it a second, let's see if it'll connect. There it is. So my advice, don't bother with the wireless pairing. Just connect the USB cable and be done with it. And that way you know that it works. Now, one of the things I do want to check out here is the Amiibo support. So we're going to go down to System Settings, Amiibo, Register Owner and Nickname. And I guess this is where the Amiibo support is supposed to be, is on that part of the controller. Sure enough. Try it one more time. The controller doesn't vibrate or anything to acknowledge the fact that it has connected to your Amiibo, but it does work. So let's go through here real quick. We're going to try just playing real quick on the Switch OLED here. Test out one of my favorites, Street Fighter, just to check and see controller performance, how it is. We got Ryu selected. So far, so good. Oh, Fei Long fighting back. Oh, he got me. A lot of that was trying to just pull off different moves with the analog stick. We're going to try the D-pad this next time and see if that's any better. Yep, not feeling it on the D-pad, I will tell you that much. Ooh, nice evasion. Oof. Ooh, got him there. Was not able to pull off the dragon uppercut at all. Overall, the moves felt a little bit difficult to pull off. So what we're going to do at this point, we're going to hook it up to our dock. One thing before we do that, I want to just test and see, will this wake the system from sleep? So we're going to go home, hold down the home button for a moment. Sleep mode. System is now powered off. Controller is now powered off. Press the home key. See if that wakes it up. Nothing. So will not wake your system from sleep. Important to note on here too. But it's now time. Let's get some more gameplay going on our TV. All right, now hooked up to our TV and everything. Let's see how everything plays. Let's actually try Super Mario 3D World with Bowser's Fury. It is small. I will say that. This is a small controller. It's not uncomfortable, but it's one of those where, like, I'm docking, kind of. Vibration alert. I don't know if you could hear it there or not, but it actually sounded quite strong. Good precision there. This is not terrible on here, at least. Oh, I screwed that really badly. All right, let's try that one more time. The one thing about Cat Mario is, yes, he can climb, but he can't float like Tanuki Mario can. There we go. Got that one. Ah! Okay. I'm sucking at that level. I'll try something else here quick. It's been a little bit since I've played this. Had to remember the controls here real quick. Got her. Analog stick's feeling great on this. Button presses are accurate. That's with the D-pad there too. Do a little bit of a monkey dance there. That's definitely one of those things that having the different abilities of the characters, whoa, changes up the game quite a bit. Yeah, I have to say overall responsiveness is really good, and the rumble is exceptional on this. While this may have some other shortcomings, the rumble is not one of them. Very, very strong. So yeah, Shantae looking great, playing great. Like I say, rumble super responsive. We're going to dive into the Super NES Online because I want to test out the turbo functionality on here. And Star Fox is one of those games that I always like to use because with it being an on-rail shooter, it's a good test. Now, granted, I could almost have used, not almost, I could have used the N64 version. Where is that Star Fox? There it is. And that's Blaster, so we're going to turbo, hold it down. There it is. Yeah, turbo is working great. got them both. Now I've switched over to the D-pad from the analog stick. Analog stick definitely did not feel bad. The D-pad feels, I would say, a little bit numb, if anything. Oh. Yeah, I think I'm going to go back to the analog stick. Oh. Yeah, the analog stick for me feels better. The D-pad is just okay. I think it's a little bit too firm, quite honestly. And quite honestly, I think I can also fire faster than the turbo, but you can change the turbo speed. I've got to look back in the instructions for how to do that. The stock turbo speed is okay, not great. Don't worry, Falco, I got you. I got you. You mind your own damn business yourself, you jerk. So, what do I think of the old school Mini Pro controller? It's comfortable-ish. If you have bigger hands, you probably will not like it. I do like the analog stick quite a bit. The button presses feel good. It reminds me a lot of if the Super NES controller would have had grips to it, basically, is kind of how this feels. The turbo is okay. Not terrific, but okay. The analog stick definitely, to me, feels better than the D-pad. We're going to hit turbo and B again. Now turbo is turned off. Yeah, I feel like I'm able to hit the buttons faster than what the default turbo is on here. I do kind of wish that, like I mentioned in the unboxing part of this, that the buttons would be concave and convex, kind of like what the Super Nintendo's was as well. The pairing process is a pain, that just being completely honest with you. The fact that you really don't bother with the wireless pairing, just use the USB cable and you will be able to pair without any major issue, or basically with fewer issues, shall we say. You are looking at digital triggers, not analog at all, so like we're going to dive into Horizon Chase Turbo here for a moment. You're not going to get that analog feel on the L2, R2, L1, R1. It's going to be straight digital on all of them. I do feel like the face buttons are a little bit crowded in relation to the right analog stick. This would be a good controller for a kid. Saying that right now. It's not a bad controller for an adult, but it's not a great controller for an adult. I love the fact that it does have amiibo support, and the rumble on here is phenomenal. Probably one of the best rumbles on any controller I've ever used. It's more powerful than even the Nintendo Pro Controller itself. And we're going to dive into some Senna Forever. Now, in Horizon Chase Turbo, you can use either the R2 or L2 as brake and gas, or you can also use A and B. I like using L2 and R2 just because then I can use Y for the turbo. Although on the start, I prefer using the face buttons. And then once we have the start out of the way, you can see I'm now using the triggers on the side. Woo! This is such an amazing game, and I love the fact now that they have the Ayrton Senna levels built into this. That's just, as someone who was a Senna fan, actually I can't even claim to be a Senna fan. I knew of Ayrton Senna. I watched him drive. I actually saw the race where he died at Imola. That was actually very, very sad. I respected the hell out of his skill. I was actually a Nigel Mansell fan back in that era. But you know, I could definitely appreciate what it was that, let me check here real quick, get a Nitron lap 1. I could definitely respect and appreciate what Senna did behind the wheel. We got some gas, we got some nitro. And this is a beautifully cartoony game. I absolutely love the graphics on Horizon Chase Turbo. The polygon sort of things that they use in here to, you know, downplay the fact that it's able to play on a variety of different hardware and every version looks great. Like, I don't know that I have this on the PS4 as well. I'm that big of a fan of the game that I've bought it on multiple platforms just to support the developers because it's a great game. If you love Outrun, if you love Rad Racer, this is going to be right up your alley. You know, it's one of those where I can see this being a timeless sort of classic just because of the art direction that they took with it. Oh, got to go around them, not through them. I don't know if you can hear the rumble going off right there when I hit the turbo, but yeah, this is impressive. We're up to third. We have 2 turbos left. I think that's second in front of me. Oh, I had the lead for a brief second. He's gone turbo. All right, try to stretch out our lead here. I mean, overall, this is not a terrible controller, but for the cost, there are definitely other controllers out there that do similar or even better than what this does for the money. And that's going to be, you know, looking at just the value of it. How does this compare at $40 to other controllers at the same or lower price point? I think the overall performance is very good for what it is. I just think there's a little bit missing underneath the hood here to make this great. And with that, we just won. Let's go ahead and wrap things up. So there you have it, my look at the old school Pro Mini controller designed for the Nintendo Switch. And, you know, I kind of gave you my thoughts there and what I think of it. Let's just say this first and foremost. Old school, got to give them mad respect. They know that I've been critical of their products, and I appreciate them when I reached out to them, knowing my stance on a lot of their stuff, they still sent me one to check out. Give them mad props for that. Absolutely appreciate that. That being said, there's a lot of potential here that maybe a firmware update can really help fine-tune. The fact that the pairing process wirelessly is, well, it's not good. There's no way to sugarcoat it. I could not get this to pair wirelessly at all. Not with my Switch OLED, not with my original Switch. I had to connect it via USB. They're not the only one that I've had that happen with, though. There are other controllers that I've had to use that USB cable, otherwise it would not pair at all. It's bad, it's inconvenient, but there's a way around it. The fact that it does support Amiibo, that's a good thing. The fact that it does support motion controls, that's also a good thing. I thought the analog sticks felt decent, button presses worked well. I was a bit concerned and off-put by the fact that I could not pull off my moves as well in Street Fighter II as with other controllers or even with the built-in Joy-Cons. That is a bit of a concern. I never felt like I was missing input, so I don't know why it wasn't reading, and like I never pulled off the Dragon Uppercut, not once. So that is a bit of a concern. The turbo is nice. As you saw on Star Fox, it works well. I'd like to go ahead and play around with it some more to adjust the speed. I didn't have the manual in front of me as I was playing. I'm going to go back through and I'll play around with that a little bit more. This really does remind me of a Super Nintendo controller, which is my favorite controller of all time. I do wish they had concave and convex buttons, but I've been complaining about stuff like that for years. The Super Nintendo nailed it, and why nobody else has ever implemented that, I don't understand. For larger hands, this may feel a bit cramped. Like you can see where my fingers, how I would normally hold a controller would be like this, and you know my middle fingers are touching compared to like here's my DualShock 4 controller. Here you can see holding it the exact same way, and my middle fingers kind of go around the grip. So I don't know if a longer grip would solve that issue on this for me or not, but that's where I say this is probably a really good controller for kids with smaller hands where you're not going to have that issue. Shoulder buttons felt good, like the fact it's USB-C. Digital, not analog, so like in Horizon Chase Turbo you saw me playing, you will only get digital inputs on the shoulder triggers. But these are my opinions. Let me know what you think down below in the comment section. Have you tried one of these out before? Have you been interested in trying one of these out before? Have you tried old school controllers in the past? Like I say, I was very, very impressed with their GameCube controller that they have that allows you to, it's basically the HoriPad update and everything that basically looks like the Super NES controller combined with the GameCube controller. It's a good controller. Their controller that they have for the TurboGrafx 16, pretty decent as well. This does not live up to as good as those two controllers were. So I had my hopes a little bit higher because of those two. This kind of brought my hopes back down again, or at least the results were a little bit lower than I was hoping for. Now, if you do want to pick up one of these, like I mentioned, they are available in the black as you see here. There's also a white one available too. I will have a link down below in a pinned comment where you can pick them up through our Amazon affiliate store. For around $40, definitely a lot less expensive than the Nintendo Pro controller, and it has a lot of those same features built into it. The main thing for me, quite honestly, is just that pairing process. Smooth that out, and everything else, that's personal preference. But if you can't get the controller paired easily to the system, there are other issues that you're going to run into first because you can't play. Now, if you've got other comments or questions, as always, feel free to leave them down below. You can also go ahead and email me at rocksolidmail@gmail.com. You can send me a message on Twitter at RockSolidStudios. We are on Facebook at facebook.com/RockSolidProductions, Instagram at instagram.com/RockSolidProductionsGK, and don't forget to check out our 3D printer store on screen right now as well, where we've got some really cool 3D printed accessories for, storing games, storing controllers, storing systems, some very cool things that we're putting up there just to kind of help us be able to do more things now and into the future. Like we just had earlier today, we got some more Famicom games. I need to print up another, and I'm not going to set those down there because they're going to fall. I'm going to print up another one of these Family Computer Famicom game holders that I have here, which is just super, super convenient. I'm actually going to remix this, and I think I'm going to try to do it where, like, this holds 5. Probably try to do one that does, maybe 16. So go a little bit longer and go twice as wide. Some options there. Now, if you like what you see here and if you want to see more, do me a huge favor. Hit that thumbs button, hit that subscribe button. That way each and every time we do upload new content, you're kept the most informed and up to date. And like I mentioned, we've actually reviewed a number of different old school products. I will have that playlist linked for you right up there where you can check those out, along with other great videos coming up right now. Thank you for watching this video. If you would like to support the future of Rock Solid Productions, you can do so by visiting our Patreon page at patreon.com/rocksolid. For as little as $1 a month, $12 a year, you'll get early access to all of our video content, exclusive content, and a whole lot more. You can also become a channel member here on YouTube for as little as $1.99 a month, and with that, you get a badge next to your name when you comment or post on the channel, and you are acknowledged whether you are a channel member or a Patreon supporter at the end of each and every one of our videos. You can also support the channel by visiting our Teespring store on screen now, where we have t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, masks, cell phone cases, and much more. Again, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you soon.